they cause. And this is a fight we're not going to win. Okay, so you can't go back and say, well, this shouldn't be pseudomallii. This is the subspecies or the sublineage out of this one. We should call this one mallii and this one pseudomallii. But it's too late for that. We can't turn back the clock. There's all sorts of clinical textbooks out there based upon that. So now I'm going to zoom in on just the pseudomallii complex. And when we do that, we find, first off, so the root for this would be back here. Here are the Australians. So we have this geographic concentration of whole genomes or of isolates. And again, our data set is tenfold larger than this slide shows, but the conclusions are still robust and the same. And out here, in what's a monophyletic group, depending upon where you pick, is we have Southeast Asia and the rest of the world. So pseudomallii from the rest of the world has lower diversity, looks like a derived monophyletic group out of a paraphyletic complex that is based in Australia. So at least at the beginning, it looks like the origin of this pathogen is in fact in Australia, and that the rest of the world is some type of a migrant or a transfer of this organism out of Australia. I'll show you more about that in a second. Notice the consistency index has plummeted now, so the data that we have fewer SNPs, we have about 50,000 SNPs, but importantly then, the consistency index is down to 0.22. So a lot of what's going on in here is in fact horizontal gene transfer. Now, you know, what Forrest will tell you is those are prophage and those are transducing particles. There's a lot of genomic islands in here that are unique sequences. Remember, I told you that 15% of the genome will differ between any two isolates. But this analysis is based only on the core gene. So we're talking about housekeeping genes. So in fact, what's also going on, in addition to these prophage and transducing particles and transformations that are going on to change the genome, we're seeing the core part of the genome is changing very rapidly. This is a very promiscuous organism. In a large study using MLST and some different models, we estimated, in fact, that the generation of diversity of this species is 25-fold greater due to recombination than it is to a novel point mutation. So most of what's happening here is a large scrambling. This is really like a eukaryotic sexual population. And in fact, using a maximum parsimony tree is kind of laughable for this. We should really be doing FST statistics or other types of genetic matrices. Now, where that changes is when you start jumping up into the mallii. So again, the mallii lineage comes out of this rest of the world, out of this milieu of sex that pseudomallii is happening. And so here's the Burkholderia mallii. So this is a pathogen that causes a very different disease in some ways than pseudomallii. It causes a disease that's primarily